Welcome, guys. Welcome. This is going to be my video celebrating the 25 years of the Sega Dreamcast. And this is going to be a long video. Now, I must warn you, I'm going to be showing a lot of my games, not all of them, because it would take way too long. I'm going to be showing you Dreamcast peripherals, games that we talked about last night on the Unlimited Truth with Unlimited and other Zinc and Hebot and everybody. Um, Dea and Tuck and everybody, you know, uh, Zinc everybody. So this is going to be a little bit long of a video. Now, if you're not really into nostalgia and retro games and collecting like I am, you might not want to watch the video because it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. This video is going to be a little long. So I'm not going to make it too long. I was going to live stream this, but I really don't want to do that because I have to go to work later. As you can see, um, Virtual Fighter 3 is playing in the background on my one of my 4K TVs, and I'm using the black special edition sports Sega Dreamcast that it's actually playing on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the video and then pause it, then I'm going to unhook it so you can see the black Dreamcast, and I have the white one here that we're going to show too. But sit back, guys, have a real drink, a cup of coffee or pop or whatever you like to drink, soda, whatever you call it. If you're watching it later, have a beer, and let's go back and walk down memory lane of the Sega Dreamcast, celebrating 25 years of the Sega Dreamcast was real awesome. So, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually show you the day one launch of the Sega Dreamcast in its original box. It's a little worn out because it's been so long, but I like to try to keep my stuff up as much as I can. So, and this is Virtual Fighter 3. This is what we are observing right here now on the TV in the background there. So, that is Virtual Fighter um, the third that this is on here. So, let's get into the video, guys. Now, this is the original box that the Sega Dreamcast came in. At the time, there was a girl I was dating, and she actually bought this for me when it came out. It was kind of like an early Christmas gift, and was very excited. I went to I think it was Toys R Us, where they gave you a nice book of the games that are coming out. And I do have that, but I didn't want to dig that out. And they gave you a nice Sega Dreamcast T-shirt that I wore to hell and back. I actually wore it out. I wore it out so bad it got holes in it and everything because I was just so excited about the Dreamcast. I wore that damn shirt every other day, washing it every other day, and I just could not wait to get the Sega Dreamcast in my hands. So let's start off by looking at the Sega Dreamcast in its original box in its entirety right here. This is the day one launch of the Sega Dreamcast box. Uh, the light is kind of butchering me showing you this. Like I said, it's a little beat up, a little wear and tear on there. You know what I mean? But if you look on this side of the Sega Dreamcast box, it has like NFL 2K, Checker Flag Racing, and I believe the original Sonic Adventure. Like it shows you little pictures of things that were coming, was coming out, or you could buy day one for the Sega Dreamcast. And on the other side, it does show like Virtual Fighter and NBA 2K and another game on there that I can't see very well on the other side here. This is actually the Dreamcast in its original box. Not really too much to see cosmetically of the box. It was pretty like it's pretty cool like design on the front with the Dreamcast like illuminating like color lights all around it and stuff like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the Sega Dreamcast out of its shell here and take a look at that. Hope you guys really enjoy the video. If you are a game connoisseur like myself and a collector, like I am a diehard collector. So that's That's when these videos they go long like that because I'm a diehard collector and I like to try to show you everything in its entirety. I'm trying to make it too long, but we're gonna take out the original Sega Dreamcast right here. Oh no, nothing falling. So this is the original Sega Dreamcast. Now I know a lot of you have seen the Dreamcast, but there's some people that might not even know about the Dreamcast because we have a younger, audience sometimes. But this is the original Sega Dreamcast that came out with launch. You got your open button that opens it up. Comes open pretty cool, pretty awesome. I like to keep my stuff real clean. As you can see, my Dreamcast is very clean, and I like to keep it in very tip-top shape and condition. It has 4 ports where 4 people can actually play simultaneously. One, two, three, four, right? So they could play simultaneously A, B, C, D. And also, like Dale was talking about last night, it did support Windows CE on it, the modem. And I believe that's this right here on the back, right here. And I believe that actually pops off. I never really took this off. So let's see. I think this actually comes off somehow. Yeah, like it comes off. And as you can see, that like the little modem thing and the Ethernet cable would go inside there, and then you just stick it back on there. If I could stick it back on there, right? And there you go. Now, from what I heard with the Sega Dreamcast, they were planning on making something else. Like, see these 4 tabs right here. Now, I don't know if they were going to hook and make us a DVD player for this, and they were going to do something else with this. Hebot might know a little bit more about that, but I think they were going to make a peripheral that would detach here, and maybe it was supposed to be where they added a DVD player, but they never did it. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think they were going to add something later on to the system as it flourished when it came out, but it never came to fruition. But as you can see, it has a really cool, unique cosmetic style to it. It says Dreamcast at the top right there. And then in the back, it has all the, the hookups, the AV cables, your power cable, and something that says serial. I don't know if it's a serial number. I don't see that, but something was supposed to hook into here. So I don't know what that would have been, but that's just the back. There's nothing too much to see when it comes to the original Sega Dreamcast. But it is an awesome, cool looking system. You know what I mean? And I've had so many hours and hours of an enjoyable fun with this system that it's just so awesome. And it's good to like play and go back and to enjoy games like this because in these days and times, when we have like I'm an Xbox student. I have the Xbox Series X, which is the best console on the planet in my opinion for right now. But my favorite all-time system of all time as being a collector will always be the Sega Genesis, the first one. Now I like the Sega Saturn and I love my 32X and my Dreamcasts and my Sega Saturns, and my Master Systems. I love them all. The Sega Nomad, I have them all. Sega Genesis 3, whatever. I have a couple of regular Sega Genesises and stuff like that. But my all-time favorite console of all time, growing up until this day, will always be the Sega Genesis. That is my all-time favorite retro console of all time, which is the Sega Genesis. Now, my favorite console right now, in the here and now in 2024, is this Xbox Series X and the Xbox consoles, because that's what I prefer to invest in and play on. But the Sega Dreamcast just brought back so many memories, and it's good to go back and actually, if you have this hardware, it's actually go back and play these games and enjoy these games because they were great games. You know what I mean? They made a lot of awesome games on the Dreamcast that sometimes some of them would actually come out and be better and more playable and better on the system than, let's say, the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was a great system. That was their best system of all time. Still to this day was the PlayStation 2. The rest of them, no. The PlayStation 2 is the best PlayStation that Sony ever created. Period, hands down. So let's get into showing you some different controllers. Now, I'm playing on the sports black one, but there was different types of colors and controllers. Now, the regular controller that came with the Sega Dreamcast, of course, was the white controller, which is the original one, which is right here. I want to be dropping stuff, guys, because I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. So this is the original Sega Dreamcast controller. There's the port that goes inside of the system. But the one I'm actually playing on is actually a cool looking blue one. Kind of like, I guess, their Sonic kind of controller. And if you look on the inside of here, I have a lot of these the VMUs. Like this is a blue one right here that I have. Yeah, it's a little, a little dusty, you know. And the next one I have right here is actually a green one. So there were different kinds of different types of VMUs. The batteries go in the back, and like I said, you could have virtual pets in here and play games. You can see your plays on here when you're playing NFL 2K, different things like that, you know. And like I said, it has two ports where you could put two memory cards in it. Hear that beep? Which was awesome. You know what I mean? This is another white one I have here. You know, and you can actually see the date on it. It says 1998, and you hit select and all that. I don't know if you can see it. You see it? Can you guys see it? And stuff like that. Now, I don't know if there's any, I don't think there's any games on here. Let me see. I don't know. Yes. Visual memory unit. Okay. Now, I can't remember if there's something on here. I don't think there's anything on here. Like little games I could show you. I don't think so, guys, but that's what it would look like. You know, see, like I said, you know, the Sega Dreamcast or Sega in general has always set the bar when it came to like technology in gaming. You know, they always were ahead of their time, just like Xbox is right now with Microsoft. But that's a cooler looking one. Now they have all different types of colors: red, blue, green, black. There's all different types of Dreamcast controllers you can get. But this let me remind you, they're not cheap. The original Sega Dreamcast controllers these days are not really that cheap unless they're really beat up and worn down. You might be able to get them real cheap, but brand new and you want different colors, they're going to cost you a little bit of money. You know, not a whole lot, but enough, you know, if you want to get into, collecting the original stuff for the Dreamcast. You know what I mean? So that's the blue one right there. The white one that came with it. Now, I'm going to show you real quick now. If you didn't really have the money for a second controller, you can always get knockoffs. This is a really really bad knockoff, I think. I found this thing that's made by I think it's Interactive. Is it Interactive? Now this is totally different. This kind of looks like something out of Star Trek. This is something Flip Money would enjoy. You know, I mean, like a Romulan ship or something like that. But this is actually I think it's an Interactive knockoff Dreamcast controller. Totally different from what the originals look like. But check this out. Now this is like a third party, I think. Okay, really, really funky looking, right? But it's kind of cool looking though too. Kind of reminds you of the gun like in Halo, the needle gun. You know, the needle gun that the little grunt uses. You know, and messes you up. I love that gun. I love the needle gun. That's like one of my favorite guns in Halo. But doesn't it kind of look like that? Like the needle gun in the Halo game, or one of the guns. You know, it kind of reminds you of one of the guns in the Halo game, right? Then it kind of reminds you of kind of like a spaceship that would be on Star Trek, you know, like going past, you know, like this, you know, like a spaceship or something going past in Star Trek. And that's kind of cool, you know, and it's not a bad controller, but like I said, the buttons are different from down here, so you can see the difference from this controller and your original Sega Dreamcast controller, right? Look at the big difference. Now you could still put VMUs and stuff in here, and it's fine. It just sticks out a little bit, but you know it's fine. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a little funky looking, but you know at the time when people really couldn't afford to probably buy all kind of original Dreamcast controllers, you had options. and they would be a little bit cheaper. So let's get that out of the way. Now, real quick, I'm going to go through some games. I'm going to actually unhook the Dreamcast real quick. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to unhook the Dreamcast real quick so you can see the black one, and then we'll put it back on. So, like I said, I have a lot of these VMUs, okay? There's a whole lot of them that I have. A lot of them don't have the batteries in there. But here's a white one and a blue one. But what was cool about these, though, guys, let me give you a little bit of history lessons. You can swap information from your friend's memory card to your memory card. Or you can actually battle together and play games on it. So check this out. So you hook them together, right? And this is me playing, and let's say Hebot's on the other side or E-Rock. And let's say we're playing like a little Cho game from Sonic. Or I think they made some kind of different games where you can actually play with each other with your little VMUs together. And you can also swap information, which was really cool with these. So, like I said, and here's actually a full original VMU with the cap on the top. See, came with a cap on the top, and that's what it looks like in its original entirety. It looks like that, right? But like I said, you can take these things, right? And you can, like I said, you can put them together and swap information. Different things like that. Like the green one here, there's another white one in there. And then downstairs in my drawer, I probably have like I think 7 or 8 more of those VMUs that I've collected over the years. These are actually becoming expensive right now. I think especially the colors. Then you got they take 2032 CR two batteries that you can buy at the Dollar Tree. Unscrew that, put them in. And there you go. These things were actually so freaking cool, and Dreamcast was way ahead of their time with these things, guys. And but that's what it looks like in its entirety, guys. The little VMUs. So the next thing we're going to get into, because I wanted to do this, because my brother Other Zinc, Other Zinc, he took me back, and I have to show it because him and Hebot were talking about this. Now, let's actually get the game. Let me go through my games real quick because there's a lot that I want to show you guys. Let me put that aside right there. What game were we talking? We're talking about they liked, and let me see if I can find that real quick, or I'll find one of them real quick here. Where are we at? That's not it. That's not it. Excuse me, guys. 1 second. I gotta go through all these games right here. All right, here's one. Now they like the game called, and I do have it. Now I don't know if I can show. Let me see it. I gotta dig through these games. All right, we'll show part 2 of that. But he'll know what I'm talking about, and they'll know what I'm talking about when they see the video. All right. Boy, let me see. I put these games up right here. A lot of Dreamcast games, right? So, um, they were talking about Sega Bass Fishing. Sega Bass Fishing was an awesome game that was on your Sega Dreamcast, okay? Now, I have Sega Bass Fishing 1, but I also have Sega Bass Fishing 2, okay? And then Sega Marine Fishing. Marine Fishing was an awesome game also, and so was Sega Bass Fishing 2. One is actually in the pile, and I will show you that in a minute. But what's really awesome about these games is it was cool to play these games with your regular controller. But this is what they were talking about last night, guys. Yeah, your boy Sega Man got you. I got you. This is the fishing rod that they were talking about, that you can play the original fishing rod for the Sega Dreamcast, which is really awesome. It's a simulator of a real fishing rod, and I like to fish in real life. My kids, I took my kids fishing a few times, and they kind of liked it. As they got older, they liked it. And we went on vacation. Um, I don't want to say where we went because I don't like to really talk about my family business. But they liked it better when they got older. When we took the family, out to where we went, and we took some fishing rods and went fishing. But this is the fishing peripheral for the Sega Dreamcast. and it works very well too, and it simulates it very cool, and you fish and you play, and it's really awesome to play with this. If you like to have a better experience when it comes to you know sports fishing games like Sega bass fishing and different games like that, this is a really awesome fishing controller to use with the Sega Dreamcast. So yeah, guys, I did this for you. Other Zing, he bought. Wanted to show you guys this peripheral, the original um, fish cast, fishing rod cast. Start buttons right here, right? Directional pad, and you have A, B, X, and A, B, X, Y are all on here, which is really cool. So they did an awesome job with this peripheral, and we had to showcase those two games with that. So we're not going to show these no more, but these are great fishing games that you can buy for your Sega Dreamcast. So moving on, because I have a lot of games to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys some more. I'm going to show you one more peripheral. Let's get that out of the way. This is actually really cool when you would play games like House of the Dead. This is the interact gun for the uh, the Dreamcast games, right? Check that out. Check that bad boy out, right? There's the trigger. It has a directional pad right here. Start, B, and I think these are, if I remember correctly, these are modes. Different modes you could put. I don't know if it was rapid fire or something like that. But what's really cool about this gun is you could take the VMU, see that top right there, and you put your VMU up there. If I'm doing it right. Wait 1 second. Right at the port. Yeah, there we go. Your VMU goes in here. So they were very innovative when it came to the Sega Dreamcast. I have to hand it to those guys. B and start on this side, start and B on this side, and this is the sensor up top here. Now it's not going to play on like our 4K TV, so you're going to have to get a regular CRT TV and play with the gun. You know what I mean? The Revenge of the Zombies, whatever have you. We're going to get into the showing you those games. But this is another cool peripheral that you could buy and get to play if you want to have more action, like with Virtual Cop, different things like that. Break yourself, homie. Break yourself. I didn't want to say the bad word, but menace to society. But yeah, this is the cool light gun that you play with the Sega Dreamcast games. All right, moving on. One more thing that he talked about too, which is really cool, and I do have one. This is my Mad Cats. This is actually a Rumble Pack. Now, this is a Rumble Pack by Mad Cats that you put inside of your Sega Dreamcast controller, right there, and the VMU up here. So now you have Rumble action when you're playing your games. Fighting games like Virtual Fighter we see back here, the third, and different things like that. So you have a better experience with enjoying your games with the Rumble feature and action in it. So that is really cool. So I have one. I think I have another one downstairs, but that is it. And one more thing that's really cool. Now for guys that want to get into playing a lot of Sega Dreamcast games, and let's say there's games on there that are really like, I don't know, like just really hard for you, and you just can't get past a certain level or a board. Well, Game Shark got you. This is Game Shark Video Game Enhancer Lite. You can actually put this into your computer and get more codes, but there's also codes that are actually in for this, and this is for the Sega Dreamcast. This is the Game Shark for Sega Dreamcast. Every once in a while, we'll use this on some really hard shmups. As you see on the back, it also came with a memory unit. I have that downstairs. Memory unit and the disc. And if you look on the back there, you can see where it came with a memory unit and the disc. I have that downstairs. Doesn't matter. You can still use the memory unit that you have. It'll still save on to that. And this is actually really cool to have. And these are actually becoming very expensive. And like I said, you go, there's the disc, and you go on and, put it in your Dreamcast, and it'll show you what games are in here already. You can start with those codes and beat the games you want that you could never beat or was too hard for you or need help getting through. Kind of looks like a PlayStation first generation blue disc, huh? Kind of pretty cool, huh? For all you PlayStation dudes out there. But yeah, this is actually a really cool thing to have too when you're playing Dreamcast games that are just might be just too hard for you to finish, or you want to have infinity lives and invincibility, different things like that to play your game, so you can beat the games faster. If you don't want to do it the old-fashioned original way, Game Shark will help you with that. So that's another one. All right, guys. So right now, what I'm going to do, real quick, before I get into the games, I'm going to pause the video because I want you guys to see the Black Dreamcast, and then I'm going to hook it back up, all right? So let me see if I can get this thing going. So bear with me, guys. We will be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Now, what I want to show you real quick, as you can see, the TV is, it's not on right now, and because I wanted to show you the special edition sports Sega Sports Dreamcast. Okay, now a friend of mine actually found this for me. He lives in Louisiana. I still owe him a Christmas gift, and he's been waiting forever. My brother Cyrus 649. He actually called me one day and he said, "And hello, Cyrus. How's mom? I hope everything is fine. I hope you're doing well, brother. Big shout out to you. I still got you, man. When it comes to what came up, don't forget to okay." Um, to send him as a Christmas gift because he sent me something really nice for Christmas. But he actually was in the wild looking for video games. And he found the Sega Dreamcast, the black one. And he said, "Do you have the Black Sports Edition Sega Dreamcast?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Do you want one?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." And I forgot the price. I think he found it for $25 or something like that with everything. And I just had to pay for shipping and the money, and he sent it to me. So this is the black Sega Dreamcast that a lot of people actually want this one more than the white one. There's all different kinds of Sega Dreamcasts. The ones from Japan are like the candy see-through color, green, pink, red, blue. But as far as the states, in the United States, this was actually the one that was very popular was the Sega Sports Black Dreamcast. And as you can see inside, Virtual Fighters inside that we've been watching on the TV, you know. But I wanted to show you this, man, because a lot of people are looking for this at a good price because it's not cheap. It's not cheap. You'll get the white one cheaper than this one. This is probably over 100, way over $100. You know what I mean? If you can find one, But yeah, this is the black one that I play on, which is really cool, you know. And the white one, it's cool. They're both cool systems to play on, but it doesn't matter if you're black or white, right? Like Michael Jackson, the king of pop, said, doesn't matter if you're black or white. It don't matter. They both play the same. They're very well. This is just a different version of the Sega Dreamcast, which is the black one. Like I said, they have different types that you can buy also that were from Japan that were imported that you can import if you want to get into collecting for Sega Dreamcast. But as far as the States, the black one is the most sought after one. The white one is next to that. So, yeah, I own them both, and they're both good looking and great systems. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn back on the Dreamcast, right? I think I'll put in a different game, and we're going to go through some games that I have. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed checking out the black Dreamcast, but again, we will be right back. All right, guys, we're back, and I have hooked it back up the Black Sega Dreamcast. As you guys can see in the background, do you guys know what game this is? I think some of you can kind of see what this game is. This is the first game we're going to talk about. We're not going to go too long talking about each game. I'm just going to show you a lot of games that I have, and some I'm going to talk about a little bit. This is Soul Calibur that was made by Namco Bandai. which is a great game that actually showed the graphical horsepower of the Sega Dreamcast. My favorite sword, Nightmare Sword, right there. And this was an awesome, awesome showpiece for the Sega Dreamcast. The graphics still hold up today, even on a 4K TV. This is a Hisense 4K TV with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. And this is actually a really good picture of Soul Calibur that came out 25 years ago on the Sega Dreamcast. Look how beautiful that is. I know it's kind of hard to see because you're watching it through my camera, but you can somewhat see kind of what I'm talking about. You know, Cervantes. So this was a great fighting game. I played hours and hours and hours of Soul Calibur on the Sega Dreamcast. I'm talking hours. Back in my apartment, you know, I would come home from work and play this for like probably like 5, 6 hours. I beat the game in and out. I did all the quests. I got all the extra characters, different things like that. I loved it, Soul Calibur. Loved it, Soul Calibur. The rumor is what I heard is they didn't even want to put this on the Dreamcast. They wanted to wait for the PlayStation 2 to come out, actually, to put it on there. This is what I'm hearing. Now, I don't know how true it is, but I heard at first they didn't want to put the Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. They wanted to put it on the PlayStation 2. But look how beautiful and awesome this game is on Dreamcast. Awesome game. So, it was one of the best fighting games that had ever came out. It blew everything else out of the water with other fighting games that were out at the time. It was Soul Calibur that just took it by storm, man. Great, beautiful background graphics. If you look at the water and the lighting on there, it's kind of hard for you to see on here, but it is so beautiful and it holds up today. The the downloadable version on the Xbox 360 um, was also good. And I also ported two on there, I believe, too, because I have both. But the original man on a Sega Dreamcast was so freaking awesome. You know, I loved it. You know what I mean? It was just an awesome, awesome game for the Sega Dreamcast. And if you were going to get into collecting for the Sega Dreamcast, I highly recommend you getting Soul Calibur because E-Rock loved this game. He likes Soul Blade. I have Soul Blade 2 for the PlayStation 1. I have that too. And Soul Calibur, me, he bought, E-Rock, all agree. This was the one of the best showpieces of fighting games at the time for the Sega Dreamcast, man. Is Soul Calibur. They do demonstrations of each character in their martial art form here in a brief demo. As you see Karalik doing that, let's turn it up a little bit. Check it out. Just letting you check it out a little bit, guys. And there we go. That was very awesome. I mean, like I said, back in the day, it was fun to even it was fun to just sit actually and watch each character do their intro of the martial art forms that they perform with their preferred weapons and different things like that, which was really awesome. So let's get into checking on some games because I don't want to make this a super duper long video. So let's just get into some games that were really good for the Sega Dreamcast. So one of the best games that ever came out too, it was a great fighting game, but it was made by Itagaki Sun. It is made by Tecmo, like Tecmo Blast. What's up, brother? And the crew, you know, over there. You know, and this is Dead or Alive 2. Dead or Alive 2 was a awesome graphical showpiece also for the Sega Dreamcast, along with Soul Calibur. I'll tell you what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna put this in. We're just gonna let this one play through while we do the rest of the games, and just want you to open up with the Soul Calibur. So we're gonna just put that one in. We're gonna take Dead or Alive, put Dead or Alive in, and um, and then after that, we're just gonna go on ahead, and I'm gonna show you the rest of the games until we're done with the video. So let's put Dead or Alive 2 in, which is another great graphical showpiece as a fighting game for uh, the Sega Dreamcast, which was really, really awesome. You know what I mean? And this was a really awesome. I spent hours and hours and hours of playing, Dead or Alive 2. And they did great compilations to this too, putting it on the Xbox where you get that where you get that collection. I have it where you get DOA 1, which I have an import of DOA 1 on my Saturn, but you get it also on the pack that they offered with the original OG Xbox. Plus, a new version of Dead or Alive 2 with stuff added to it, boards, different things like that. Awesome, awesome thing that he loved it, the Xbox. Itagaki's son loved it, did Sega, and he went over to Xbox and he did phenomenally awesome. The best fighting games ever, in my opinion, is Dead or Alive. Tekken's a great, it's an okay game, but it's too the fighting mechanics to me they're too stiff. They fight like they're rock'em sock'em boxers, like this. They're just really stiff like. When you play Dead or Alive 2, it has fluidity to it when they do their martial arts styles, when they kick you, when they punch you. Like if you watch, there's a lot of good flowness to their martial arts. You know what I mean on there. And it was just to me a way better fighting game. I'm not saying Tekken isn't good because I own some Tekkens. They're great games, But to me, Dead or Alive beat it hands down. Where you can go and jump through stages and onto other stages and crash through other stages, different things like that. So this was a good graphical, also masterpiece at the time for Sega Dreamcast. This is the better version than the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 version, don't get me wrong, it was a decent game. It was. But it just looked and played better on the Sega Dreamcast. Sega Dreamcast did it better, in my opinion. So, this is Dead or Alive 2. Highly recommend if you love fighting games, get DOA 2 for your Sega Dreamcast. All right. Now, this is the game I talked about yesterday. It really freaked people out. It is narrated by the great Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek, and that is Seaman. Seaman was a great, in my opinion, virtual pet game. If you look on the back, it's a little creepy because you see the little Seaman right there. He has a little head, and the fish body. But I actually beat this. You can beat this. I beat it to the end where the credits ran up and everything. I got really into and immersed in playing Seaman. It was an awesome game. He would answer questions. If you said something smart to him, he'd say something smart back to you. Like I think my friend, I think he came over and he said in the microphone, he said, "You're a bitch," and Seaman said, "Your mother," which was funny. He did. He said, "You're a bitch," and Seaman looked like this real. You know how they do it like that. He moves his head and it's computing. And he said, "Your mother," like that. And we were all laughing, all cracking up because it was funny. He actually felt offended and he said, "Your mother." This is a true story. But this is a great game, which is Seaman. The one we just seen, Virtual Fighter 3. Highly recommend this fighting game for the Sega Dreamcast. Beautiful graphics, beautiful art form. One of the best games ever made is Virtual Fighter 2. And till this day, Virtual Fighter 2 is one of the best fighting games ever. My favorite 3D fighting game is Virtual Fighter. I like Dead or Alive, that's number 2. Virtual Fighter is number 1. This is my number 1 fighting game is Virtual Fighter. And this one is really good. Virtual Fighter 2, to me, hands down, was the best Virtual Fighter game, in my opinion, ever made. So the next one we get into is also a great game made by Midway, which is Ready to Rumble Round 2. Now, I have Round 1 also. Ready to Rumble Round 2 was an awesome game. I have all the characters. You can be Shaq. I unlock Michael Jackson. You can be President Clinton. You can be Hillary Clinton in here. I think this dude right here, Afro, is voiced by Chris Rock, I believe. But there were so many characters that you can unlock in this game. It was awesome, awesome game, and it still is an awesome game today. So if you get a Sega Dreamcast, get ready to rumble round two and round one. These were funny, awesome games, guys, and you won't go wrong with this. Awesome game, awesome. Next one here, it's a regular game on here. My wife likes these games too. Sometimes we play together. This is the next Tetris. The next Tetris on the Sega Dreamcast was pretty cool. Pretty cool game. The next Tetris. This one here is called Dynamite Cop. A little bit more expensive today. I think it's like the prequel or sequel to Die Hard, Die Hard trilogy that I have on the Sega Saturn. I think it has to do with that, the Die Hard games that I have on Sega Saturn. But this is called Dynamite Cop, which is a really awesome game. I found this, believe it or not, I found this at a Goodwill for about $4. Was that a Goodwill for like $4.50 or something like that? And I thought it was beat the hell and back. I thought there wasn't going to be a disc in there or something like that. But it had the disc in there, and the disc right here is in there, and it's in flawless condition. Flawless condition. I found this a long time ago. Dynamite Cop is an awesome game. I beat it. Cool graphics for back in the day. Awesome game, guys. Highly recommend that also. Let's see what else we got here. We got um, Walt Disney's World Quest Magical Racing Tour. Found that. That's a pretty awesome game. Yeah, it's a little kiddie, kind of like a Mario Kart type game at the time for the Sega Dreamcast. So it's worth checking out. It's a little pricey now. I got it cheap back then, but I think a lot of these games I guess go up in price. But yes, it is. It's a cool, cute 'em up racing game that you can play with your family and different things like that. It's a Walt Disney racing game, so it's kind of worth a little bit of money, I guess, because of Walt Disney's name on it. A lot of people are not liking Disney these days, but this was a racing game that came out for the Dreamcast. All right, what else we got here? All right, this is another great game, and I have two of these. There's two different versions of this game. There's one that's called 2.0 or something that was an online game, and there's one that was just a regular game. This is an awesome game that people forgot about that was made by Ubisoft. Game is called Speed Devils. This was a great arcadish type racing game where you would have UFOs come down and crash while you're driving past on the bridge in like Arizona. Different things like that had tornadoes in the board, different things, different kind of effects in the board. But everybody forgets about Speed Devils. This was a great racing game, arcade racing game, which is awesome, and I still like to play today because you can't play these anywhere else except on the Sega Dreamcast. That's another great one. Another awesome game that really brought it home for Sega racing games was not only Daytona USA, but the ever uh, heart pounding and unforgettable racing game was the Sega Rally Championship, which I own also on the Sega Saturn and also on the Sega Dreamcast. This is an awesome game graphically. It would run for so smooth when you would use the controller. It was awesome, really arcadish type bounce graphics to the shocks and stuff in the game. So this is another great game to own is Sega Rally Championship for the Sega Dreamcast. The next one we have here is another great racing game. As you know, your boy Sega Man loves racing games. The king of racing games right now is Forza Motorsport. No other racing game can hold a candle to it. I'm sorry, Gran Turismo cannot hold a candle to Forza Motorsport. Hands down, I'm sorry, it can't. But a great game that came out for the Sega Dreamcast is their very own Sega GT. This is another great racing game that was on the Sega Dreamcast. I acquired this years ago for a few dollars, still in great condition. And another one on here was Metropolitan Street Racer, which I also have that they're advertising inside here with Sega GT. So if you like racing games and you want to get some for your Dreamcast, I highly recommend that. Here's another one. This is Rush, San Francisco Rush 2049. I believe you could play this in the arcades. This was another awesome arcade type racing game with cool graphics, awesome color, and it was made by Midway. So another one that was a really cool racing game, arcade type, is San Francisco Rush 2049. Nobody can never forget about this. Everybody has always played Crazy Taxi 1, which was awesome. But they came out with Crazy Taxi 2 also for your Sega Dreamcast, which was a very awesome game also. The Crazy Taxi games are awesome. I own all three. Crazy Taxi 3 only came out on the OG Xbox, and I own that one also. But it started with Sega Dreamcast with Crazy Taxi and Crazy Taxi 2, which are awesome arcadey type, really cool, funny, quirky racing games where you have to get the people to their destination where you'll get a good gratuity by getting them there on time. If not, they get mad at you and you don't really get good snaps. You don't get really good money. You know what I mean? So it depends on as fast as you get them there, the more money you make. The worse you do, the less money you make. So this were great games, was Crazy Taxi 2. Another one here is called, people forget about this game. It was by Acclaim. This is called Vanishing Point. Vanishing Point was also a forgotten racing game that was on the Sega Dreamcast that was pretty decent. It wasn't a bad racing game. Some people didn't like it. They said it ran a little slow, but I thought it was fine. Another great racing game graphically, and it's a very fun game in my opinion if you like racing games. So that's another one. Now, this is the one everybody was talking about last night too. Also, very great arcade game that you can play in the arcade. It bring it home to the Sega Dreamcast because it was the direct port, and that is Hydro Thunder by Midway. It was a great game on the Sega Dreamcast. Still is a great game that you can actually play today. Backwards compatibility on your Series X is Hydro Thunder. I wish they would have brought a Hydro Thunder too. I don't know if they did, but that would be nice, Phil. If you see this video, Phil, it'd be nice to bring out a new Hydro Thunder and make it exclusive to Xbox. That would really be awesome to bring out another Hydro Thunder game and make it exclusive for the King of the Boxes, which is the Xbox Series X. But this was a great game to play on your Sega Dreamcast. Very arcadey, very fun, very awesome to play, especially if you play with your wife, your kids. It was an awesome game to play. Now this game here broke records. Very innovative for at the time. Also showed the graphical power and what the Sega Dreamcast could do. And yes, it is the original Shamu. It's not Shamu 3. I like Shamu and Shamu 3. With a drunken sailor on the stage. It all started with Shamu, which was on the original Sega Dreamcast. I beat this game. It was awesome. It came with disc one, the passport. If I can grab it out. Passport book. This too. Pretty good graphical pictures of them on there. Then it had disc 3 and then the passport disc. So this is all complete inside here for Shamu. This was a great game. Very awesome game. Still today, it holds up on your Sega Dreamcast. It's an awesome game to play. You can go back and do things after you're done playing the game. So if you like good Japanese action style, kind of like an action adventure RPG, I think, kind of fighting style game. But this was an awesome game for the Sega Dreamcast. Now, we're almost done, guys. I have some more games to go through here, and then I pretty much will be done. So let's go through the rest of what I have here. This was a cool game that came out for the Sega Dreamcast too, made by Capcom called Heavy Metal. It's a good, kind of like a fighting hack and slash game. Heavy Metal was awesome. I think I acquired this for a few dollars at a flea market, I think. But yeah, this is Heavy Metal for the Sega Dreamcast. It's not a bad game. It's pretty. It's actually pretty cool, like uh, fighting adventure type like game with strong, bloody lyric and strong lyric, lyrics and everything on here. But it's actually a pretty cool game. Now, I never really finished playing. It had soundtracks from heavy metal groups like Megadeth, different things like that. But it was an awesome, interesting game. That is Heavy Metal for the Sega Dreamcast. Now, this was a great platforming game. I still like this game. It was fun, and it can be challenging, but it's a great game. And I guess Crave brought this out. I don't know if it was their mascot that they brought out or anything like that, but it was made by Crave Entertainment, and this is Super Magnetic Neo. This was another great game that came out on the Sega Dreamcast. My wife was tickled by this, and she liked the graphics in it, and she liked the boards in the game, but it become a little challenging. It has a pink, cool looking disc in there. It actually has a little teddy bear hanging by his neck, on the disc in there. But this is Super Magnetic Neo, which was another great game that showed about the graphical powers of the Sega Dreamcast. Another great game to buy. Now we got here Slave Zero. Now I never really it's a hot four-player action. Now I played this a little bit and then I started playing other things, but it has a cool mech on the front. So if this interests you, look it up and see what you think. It's not bad. You have to go around the city doing things and different things like that, but this was an awesome Sega Dreamcast game from what I played of it. Some of these games I've never beaten all the way or haven't beaten, because other games took me away from them. That's why I have so many games to play. Rather it's retro or my Xbox Series X or and things like that. But here was another game. Well, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people like this game. I got it because it was made by Sega, and I think you can unlock Michael Jackson in this, and this is Space Channel 5. Like a kind of like a dance game. And if you see it has like where it has like a 3D thing where she's kicking and dancing or something like that. But this is Space Channel 5 for the Sega Dreamcast. Now I played a little bit, it's a little weird, kinda. It has the advertisement of Hebot's game that he likes, Echo the Dolphin, inside there. But that is Space Channel 5. The next one we have here is the original Sonic Adventure. Now, I believe our brother Unlimited Productions had fun playing this game. This showed what the Dreamcast can also do back in the day. People were amazed by the tornado effect in here, where it shoots you through the tornado onto a big skyboard. It's a run through board where you have to run and go upside down in laser loops and loops and stuff like that. The mechanics in this game was awesome, but sometimes the camera angle sometimes would make you fall off the board. But besides that, it was a really awesome game, this Sonic Adventure, and I think they did a good job with Part 2 also. So that was one of the games you can get at launch, I believe. Now this one here, I actually found this at a flea market, and it was still wrapped up, and he only wanted like $3 for because he had a couple of them actually. It's called Urban Chaos. Now, I haven't heard too much about Urban Chaos, but I got it brand new sealed for like $3 at my local flea market. Now I think this game is worth over $100, but this was years ago. This is called Urban Chaos. It's actually pretty cool. I think it's kind of like a Resident Evil game or something like that. I didn't really get too much into it, but this is called Urban Chaos, and it's a pretty decent game. If you're curious about it, you have a Dreamcast, maybe you can find it and see what you guys think on that. Now, this game here was actually a better version, and it's because the Dreamcast was just more powerful than the PlayStation One, and I think it might have looked better on this one than PlayStation Two, and that is Resident Evil 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. Some people didn't know that Resident Evil games came out, except for Codename Veronica, that came out for the Sega Dreamcast. But I have Resident Evil 2 and 3 for the Sega Dreamcast. And this is actually 2 discs right there. And the other one's right. Let me see. Does it go this way? The one's right here. So this is a 2 disc Resident Evil 2, and it looks great. And I'm not saying it's phenomenal, but it looks better than you playing it on a PlayStation 1. That is Resident Evil 2 for your Sega Dreamcast. It's actually worth a pretty penny today, too. Now, this is the game everybody was talking about. Everybody was talking about. Do I have the original here? Let me see if I can show the original first. Let me show the original first, because I did pick that up. This is a great... Where's it at? Oh, my goodness, it's on the bottom. Well, let me get it without seeing if I break any. Nope, I didn't. Okay. I'm going to show you both of these, okay? This game is Sega Sports Arcade, and this is a fantastic tennis game. Virtual Tennis is an awesome game on the Sega Dreamcast still today. It still holds up and plays very, very, very well. It's very easy to get into. It's Virtual Tennis, and we also had Sega Tennis 2K2. I don't know if it's Virtual Tennis 2. It just says Sega Tennis 2K. It might be, but this is the other one. This is the other one, which has the sisters on the front, Serena Williams and Venus Williams. Very young Serena and Venus Williams on this. This is actually worth a little bit of money with these girls on here because they're legends in the tennis of tennis. So that's part 2, and this is part 1. These were awesome, awesome tennis games for the Sega Dreamcast. So moving along, the best still today, awesome, hands down football game ever. I don't like Madden. Madden's is not great to me. I'm sorry. It is NFL 2K. NFL 2K with your boy Randy Moss on the front there was the best and still the best, in my opinion, um, football game. I will still play NFL 2K. The best NFL 2K that's out right now is NFL 2K5 with Terrell Owens on the front of it. There's no Madden game. I'm sorry, there is no Madden game out there today in 2024 that can be NFL 2K5 with Terrell Owens. And at the time, they were selling them for $20 a pop, making a mockery of Madden. They were $20 or $25 a pop, and they sold like this, like hotcakes. It destroyed Madden 05. Destroyed it. NFL 2K is the best football game still today. So if you like football, I know it's old, but it plays very awesome. The graphics were so awesome for back in the day. It's a very good and, in my opinion, the best football game out there. The next one we have here is Zombies Revenge. Zombies Revenge was another awesome gun. You can use the gun. I think in that, I believe you can. If this is the one you can use the gun for, let me see. Arcade stick. Standard controller. No, you can't use it on this. You can't use it on this. I'm sorry. You can use the arcade stick and you can use a regular controller. But this was an awesome game called Zombie Revenge by Sega, which was I wish they would bring like part 2, 3 of these games out. I don't think there's any other versions of this out, but it would be nice to put these on the Xbox and make them exclusive, in my opinion, and put them on there. That would be awesome. But this was awesome zombie action shooter game, gun game. This was an awesome game for back in the day. Lots of fun playing Zombies Revenge. All right, here is Resident Evil Nemesis for the Sega Dreamcast. For you guys that didn't know, Nemesis made it onto Sega Dreamcast. This is I beat this also, awesome Resident Evil game to play on your Sega Dreamcast. And it was only 1 disc, but it was an awesome game to play on there. Now, this game recently came out on your Xbox Series X. You can read it. They should have like cleaned up the graphics, made it a little bit better, made it a little bit more crisp, and got the sharp edges out of this character. But this came out on the OG, on the not the OG, but the Series X. You can buy it digital download. Is the game called Shadow Man? This is Shadow Man for the Sega Dreamcast. But they recently, I think it was last year, you can buy this digitally. You can still buy it digitally on your Xbox Series X. But if I see it for like maybe $5, I'll buy it. But nah, I don't want to buy it. I didn't want to buy it because it just didn't look like they did anything to it. Like they didn't, like make it clean it up real good, or make it a good remake of the game. Show some honor when you guys do these and make these games a little better for today's standards. And they didn't do it. So if it comes on sale for like $5 or something like that, I might consider adding it to my digital library. But this is Shadow Man for the Sega Dreamcast. We're almost done, guys. If you guys really enjoy retro gaming and you like the Sega Dreamcast, you will watch this video in its entirety. And I know there's a few guys that will. This is another great shooter game, which is called Confidential Mission. This was made by Sega. This is another awesome game, shoot 'em up game, not like shooter game, like a kind of like a virtual cop. Very awesome. It's very fun, and it can become challenging. I found this also at the flea market for a few dollars, and it was brand new. Some people, they come with different types of stuff they might have found somewhere, or auction house auction, and they found in different places and weird things. And these older folks don't know what it is, and they make them like $3, or something like that, because they just want to sell it. And this was $3, brand new in a shrink wrap, which is Confidential Mission. Now, when I bought this, I didn't know nothing about it. It flew under my radar, but I had to get it because it was a Dreamcast game. Got it home and had hours of fun playing Confidential Mission for the Sega Dreamcast. The next one we got here is actually a shoot 'em up called Mars Matrix. This is another shoot. This is a shoot 'em up on. It's very expensive right now, called Mars Matrix. This is a shmup here. It's on the Sega Dreamcast. So if you like shmups, try to check out this game for the Sega Dreamcast, because I don't think they made a whole bunch of these, but these are very expensive. The shoot 'em ups further. That's Mars Matrix, Martrix, if I said that right. Here's the original Ready to Rumble. This is the original Ready to Rumble. I think it came out. I think it came out at the launch of the Sega Dreamcast, if I'm correct. This is where it started. This is actually Michael Buffer's game. The guy that says Ready to Rumble, Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer plays a big part in these games. I believe this was his game. Ready to Rumble Round 2 and Ready to Rumble is his game. And it is made by Midway also, that sponsored it. But I believe it was a Michael Buffer funny type boxing game, which is Ready to Rumble. That's the original right there, guys. Then we have an old school game, Cubert. Cubert on the Sega Dreamcast was pretty awesome. They added more color graphical things to it, new looking boards, backgrounds to go with it, which was really awesome. So that is Cubert. Next one we got here is near and dear to my heart because my mother bought this for me. May she rest in power. I've had this game for a long time, and she went out and bought it for me because she knows I was excited for my Sega Dreamcast. She bought me Mortal Kombat Gold at Kmart, brand new. Mortal Kombat Gold. Now, a lot of people might not like Mortal Kombat Gold, but I like Mortal Kombat. It's my favorite 2D fighting game. They made it into 3D. Mortal Kombat Gold, my mother bought me, and I will never sell this game. It was from my mom, and I was so excited when she got this for me. I played hours and hours of Mortal Kombat Gold, and I actually think it's a pretty good fighting game for the Sega Dreamcast. Man, was Mortal Kombat Gold, which was awesome in my opinion. I liked it. Now, guys, let me show you guys both of these. These had a game on there. This had a little game on here that I wish they would have bought out on the Xbox, like a little fun puzzle game called Sega Swirl. And it was a little snake or something that swirled on there. But it was on It was on the web browsers. Here are the web browsers. We have Sega Dreamcast web browser wired by AT&T. Then we have Sega web browser 2.0 with the SegaNet on it. These were the web browsers that were made for the Sega Dreamcast. Planet Web, on here it says here you can optimize for SegaNet, get exclusive access to VMU files, movies, and more. Explore the World Wide Web. I think you can actually still. I think people do videos on this. I think you could still do that. But there was a game in here called Sega Swirl. I think it's in the 2.0 one. I can't remember. Or it might have been in the first one. But there was a game you can actually play on here, which was pretty awesome, called Sega Swirl. I wish it would have made it into an original game and put out on the Xbox or something like that. That would have been cool. But these are the web browsers for the Sega Dreamcast. So I have both of them. And I think that the 2.0 I got for like $1 somewhere. And this is another cool game called Soul Fighters. Another great game that came out for the Sega Dreamcast called Soul Fighters. Another cool game, kind of reminds you of kind of like I don't know, kind of maybe like a Golden Axe or something like that. But this was another one that was actually pretty cool, which was Soul Fighters. Yeah, for um, the Sega Dreamcast. Why ain't that hooked? It should be hooked up. I don't know. Okay, keeping it going. This was kind of like a Expendables. This was kind of like a how you say like a Contra. So that was another cool game that came out for the Sega Dreamcast. I played this a few times, didn't beat it, but it's a cool top-down kind of like adventure type. Not top, oh, kind of like a top-down adventure type. I can't remember. It has over 20 levels, cutting 3D graphics, different things like that. But this was actually pretty cool. It will kind of remind you kind of like a Contra or something like that. So that's another one to maybe look into. Few more games, guys. Few more games. This is one called Extreme Sports. Extreme Sports. They were kind of cool games to play on there, where you can you're on quads. You do like you're on quads. You do bike riding, skydiving, different things like that. So it was called Extreme Sports. I remember picking this up for like $1 at the Goodwill or something like that, and it was in flawless condition. Anything that's Dreamcast, I don't care. I'm going to pick it up. But that is Extreme Sports. Now, here's another great, awesome game. Sonic Adventure 2 was an awesome game for the Sega Dreamcast. If you own one, you must have two. They upped the ante with the graphics, added more characters, added more story. Another great game. You can also buy and play backwards compatibility, which is the greatest system ever to have backward compat, is the Xbox. And you can buy it and play it on there. So another game we have here is Fighting Force 2. Fighting Force 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. I didn't get too much into this. I played it a little bit, so I can't remember, guys, exactly what the game consists of. I think it was kind of like a fighting type cop game, if I remember, guys. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it by what I'm saying, but I didn't get too much into it. I got this for about a couple bucks at a flea market a long time ago, also, and I can't remember, guys. I played for a little bit, and I went back to playing something else. But this was an awesome. This was a kind of an awesome game. You know what I mean? But I don't want to tell you it's super awesome and kick ass and all that. When I didn't finish it, I played much all the way through it. But I will tell you this: this next racing game here. Sorry about the shaking, guys, of the camera. But I'm trying not to shake as much because I'm doing this on my laptop. The next one we got here, though, guys, is an awesome racing game that nobody mentioned last night. That I mentioned, but I don't know if they heard me. This game was kind of expensive, and I think it got in trouble because of some kind of licensing. This game is called Test Drive Le Mans. Test Drive Le Mans was one of the most graphical, powerhouse racing games for the Sega Dreamcast. This shows you the power of the Sega Dreamcast when it came to racing games. It was Test Drive Le Mans. This is an awesome game for Sega Dreamcast, and people forget about this. One of the best simulation racing games ever made. And I think they got in trouble for some kind of licensing or something like that, and they had to take them off the shelf or something like that. But this game blew Gran Turismo out of the water. It was Test Drive Le Mans. This blew Gran Turismo out of the water, in my opinion. This was a fantastic racing game that was awesome. And if you love racing games, I definitely highly recommend you getting Test Drive Le Mans. I'm not steering you wrong. This was an awesome, awesome game for the Sega Dreamcast. Awesome game. Another one we're talking about here, which was Metropolitan Street Racer, which I think Others Inc. talked about last night on the show, on the Unlimited Truth. That's another cool racing game to get for your Dreamcast. We got another one here that they were talking about, which is F355 is it F355 Challenge? F355 Challenge, yeah. This was another cool racing game. Now I didn't play it as I played Test Drive Le Mans, but this is an awesome, awesome racing game. And I think you would like it. Now, I didn't get too much into it like I did that Test Drive Le Mans, but I got into it enough where I know it was a good looking racing game and an awesome racing game with beautiful graphics, the art style of the roads and the world in this game was pretty damn awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think this has to do with is it Mustang? Also, I think, but I claim another great racing game for your Sega Dreamcast. Now, we got another cool game which was really good on there that you can, I believe, play with the light. Can you play with the light gun? I think you could play this. Yeah, I think this one you can play with the light gun. I'm pretty sure is House of the Dead 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. House of the Dead 2. If you own a Sega Dreamcast, you must own House of the Dead 2. It's a great, awesome zombie shooter game that you can still play in the arcades today. It is an awesome, awesome game. House of the Dead 2, which is really awesome. They made a great House of the Dead on the Xbox Series X, which is really awesome. I own that physically because of my brother Hebot. Thanks to Hebot, I own House of the Dead 2 physically and digitally. So this is a great, not House of the Dead 2, but a House of the Dead 3 or something on the Xbox. Now we're getting down to nitty gritty. There's a couple more games here. This is the original. Now I don't have the cover, but this is the original Sega Bass Fishing that the guys were talking about. I got this somewhere for 50 cents. I'm trying to find the original in its case and everything. So when I find the original in its case and everything, I'm just going to get rid of this or keep it for a backup. But this is the original Sega Bass Fishing for the Sega Dreamcast. It's in a generic shell, but it's an awesome, awesome game. This game is very expensive. The first game, I believe, came out on your PlayStation 1 called Rival Schools. Well, this is called Project Justice. And some goofball idiot that was on the show last night wanting to play stupid and dumb and act like nobody mentioned it, which I did say something about it, and I do have it in my collection. Since you want to be a troll, you know who you are. You need to knock it off. You really do. It is Project Justice, which is a great fighting game for your Sega Dreamcast. This game is worth $250 right now, and I think it's going up. This is Project Justice by Capcom for the Sega Genesis. I got this when Dreamcast was done. They were liquidating all these games out of GameStop, and I got this game for a whopping $10. Now it's worth $250. Project Justice is one of the best fighting games ever from Capcom to come out on the Sega Dreamcast. So this is definitely one to own if you can afford it because it's expensive now. I got it cheap because I came in at the right time. And now it's worth $250 in some places. Not everybody sells it for that, but I see it thinking on eBay for $250. Project Justice. Last but not least, you can still play this racing game. Me and my wife played this numerous times in Dave and Buster's and different places like this, and she kicked my ass. It is Daytona USA for the Sega Dreamcast. An awesome arcade racing game, still holds up today. It's the direct port from the arcade. It is awesome. Daytona USA. Well, guys, I hope you really enjoyed going back into time with Sega Man celebrating 25 years of the Sega Dreamcast. This was an hour and 15 minutes and counting. If you're a collector like me and you really enjoy video games, especially Sega video games, I hope you really enjoyed and liked this video. There's not going to be no special effects ever coming from me, no special outros or intros. This is all in real time, from the hip, live and raw, in my living room, showing you some of my collection of my Sega Dreamcast games and peripherals, celebrating the Sega Dreamcast. It's still a great system. As you can see, the graphics still look awesome on Dead or Alive 2. And after I'm done with this video, I'm going to play some Dreamcast for a while. And then I have to get ready for work, but I wanted to do this video for you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And you guys have a nice day. The weekend's going to be coming up soon. And I hope you really enjoyed this nostalgia walkthrough the Sega Dreamcast. I want to give a shout out to Graphic God. Graphic God is another really awesome brother out here that does gamer picks for everybody. He did my gamer pick, and he loves Sega Genesis. We've talked about it on live. We talked about it on the computer when he was making my gamer pick for me. So I want to give a big shout out to Graphic God. And I've been wanting Graphic God to do something for me. Things have came up, but I have Graphic God on the Xbox, and when I'm ready, I want him to do me another gamer pick of something that has to do with Gears to celebrate E-Day coming out. I will be getting in touch with you, Graphic God, if you watch this video. If brothers, if you talk to Graphic God, tell him to check out the video. I made this also for him because he liked it. He loves Sega Genesis and he likes Sega games. So these are for the OGs and the newcomers that like Sega. This was for you guys, celebrating 25 years of the Sega Dreamcast from your boy Sega Man 101. All right, so guys, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you liked my video. I don't ask nobody to subscribe. If you want to subscribe to my videos, subscribe to me. If you want to subscribe to me, I appreciate you a whole lot. I really do. Appreciate you because you help me to keep going. You support my channel. You like the content that I do, and you like what I bring as a gamer to you. So if you support my channel, it's much appreciated. If you just watch and share my video with other retro gamers out there, that's cool. I'm an OG out here in these gaming streets. I proved that to you numerous times of showing you stuff that I have in my collection when it comes to video games. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate it. If not, I'm glad that you came here and enjoyed a walk down memory lane with Sega Dreamcast 25 years. All right, so you guys take care, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace. Play video games, collect video games. If you're a true gamer, man, you're always welcome here. All right? So big shouts out to everybody that rocks out with us with the Xbox Warriors podcast, with the Unlimited Truth, with the Exile podcast with my brother E-Rock, and our crew with Our Lady of X, Dea, everybody. He bought other Zinc, Poseidon. Big shout out to Poseidon, Smitty Smith, all these great guys, all the chat, Anthony Chipmunk, all these guys. You guys know who you are. There's so many to name that are so cool and support us. Gaming since 1980. Big shouts out to him, Gogo Pole, all you guys, Killer Chauvin, All you guys. Big shouts out to all you guys, man. I really appreciate all of you for your support. And thank you so much for supporting your boy Sega, man. Peace, guys. I'll talk to you soon.